Welcome to the cave with Mel, Troy, and Lex. The podcast with men that have a safe space. We on all platforms. You need to tune in, hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Welcome to Melody, the podcast with men that have a safe space. Welcome to Melody. Welcome to the cave with Mel, Troy, and Lex.
That first of all, I hate my mailman.
Good God, why you hate the mailman?
I hate my mailman, bro. You know my office is in the crib, and it's by the front window, so I can always see what's going on outside the house, whatever. And Fridays is trash pickup, and I be moving the trash can and stuff as far over as I can, so that the trash truck don't hit the mailbox and nothing like that, so that they got room because they just use a little machine now to pick stuff up. Every Friday, my mailman comes to drop off the trash. This runs my trash can over, and I think he's doing it on purpose.
I love it.
I legit think that he's doing it on purpose.
I love it.
He puts the mail in the mailbox, closes that joint up, and he just rams his little mail truck through my trash can, bro. Knocking my joint all crazy and stupid. Now my joint halfway up the street, and every Friday I got to go get that joint. One day I tried to chase his ass down outside the.
So why don't you just move it to a different location?
Bro, if you could see how far I have moved it, you would understand why I'm so frustrated.
You'll be all right. You gotta do better, bro.
I hate my mailman. I'm gonna report him, actually.
To who? Who you gonna report him to?
To the USPS. Who else he gonna report him to?
Oh, them niggas don't care nothing about that.
My mailman, yo.
Look, my pops was a postmaster for years. They'll take your complaint. That is not going nowhere, bro. That's gonna sit on somebody's desk and never be addressed.
He pissed me off, bro.
Well, just
making me mad, bro.
Put the trash can on the other side of the driveway. If it was on one side of the driveway, put it on the other side of the driveway.
Then it'd be next to my neighbor's mailbox.
Oh, I got you.
You know what I'm saying? He's doing it on purpose, but he could literally just drive around it, but he don't want to. So he just rams the trash cans.
Well, to be fair, they have tracking mechanisms on them, so they really be tracking. Like even if he took a false move, they be tracking that. So he just he on his route. So you gotta figure it out, bro.
Do you have the trash can in the middle of the road?
No, it's not. I'm telling you, I wish I could provide an image of where I put the trash, because I know this sounds futile and everyone gonna be wondering why I'm so angry about this trash can. But if y'all could see the lengths that I go through to be considerate of others and to be courteous. So I'm already, because the first time he ran it over, I was
that
like,
ain't got nothing to do with consideration.
Listen,
that is not considerate.
Listen, you didn't even let me finish it. Listen, bro.
I know it ain't considerate. I already know it ain't.
It is, bro. Because the first time it happened, I already know it ain't. The first time he ran the trash can over, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I said, you know what? I did put that joint a little bit closer to the mailbox. It was a little bit hard for him to do his job and deliver the mail. Let me move this trash can further out the way so that he's not obstructed to be able to do it. I moved the trash can for him. I didn't do it for me. I moved it so that he didn't have to run the trash can over because it seemed that I was blocking his ability to do his job. So I moved it to help him. And now he just keep running it over. So he just being a dick. That's what's pissing me off. So it was considerate. And I don't like how y'all be trying to paint it as me not doing considerate stuff. I do a lot of things to be considerate.
That was lace. That was lace. That's not me.
Hey, what's going on, man? It's your boy Melly Mel, a.k.a. Melly Badass, a.k.a. Meek Mel, a.k.a. Favorite Truth Teller, a.k.a. if you don't want to know, don't ask
me.
It's your boy T-Dot Roy, your neighborhood hope dealer. If you need some hope, I got something you can borrow. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow.
What it do, though? It's your boy, Dr. Life Coach Lace, a.k.a. NBA Old Boy, a.k.a. I'm him, a.k.a. Mr. Big Shot, a.k.a. the Menace, no relation to Dennis. Let's get it.
Yeah. Well, welcome back, fellas. It's been a while. Schedules have been busy. But fans have been mad. Look, we put up a rerun. Okay, we put up a rerun. Fan in the comments gonna be like, "Is this a rerun?"
Legit. I got that message myself.
Legit.
Y'all just recycling. Y'all ain't gonna give us nothing new.
Like y'all ain't been watching Martin for 30 years.
You know
I ain't got new episodes. I don't hear you complaining about that. Did you write them a letter? Did you write them a letter and ask if this is a rerun? Hey, man, listen, it was a rerun, but that's because...
I'm sorry, Martin. I just didn't want to go to Arizona.
Look, man, it was a rerun, but that's not because we wanted to. It's because we didn't want to leave y'all without an episode. And if we didn't give y'all an episode, y'all would have been complaining about that too. And we got a bunch of new listeners who may not have heard old episodes or anything like that. So we say, you know what? Let's put up an old episode for some of our newer listeners, and just give people a chance to have something to listen to during the interim, man. So yeah, we just trying to look out. See what I mean? Trying to be considerate.
Yeah, trying to be considerate. You know what I'm saying?
Now that was considerate. I give you that was considerate.
No, the trash can was considerate too. That's you know what? That's my problem. That's what used to be my problem about being considerate, because there's always a chance that someone's gonna let you down when you're trying to be considerate, and it's gonna piss you off. So to avoid being let down and stuff like that, I used to just, you know what? I'm not even gonna be considerate. I'm not gonna set myself up for failure.
Okay,
I'm not even gonna be considerate.
But that's not being considerate if you're looking at the outcome, bro. Like consideration is just doing it to do it, not to benefit you, to piss you off internally because they didn't respond how you wanted them to.
Nigga, there's layers to consideration.
I hate to say this, Mel. I actually agree with Lace on this.
No, there's layers to consideration, bro. You can be considerate. Consideration doesn't have to just benefit the person that you're doing it for. Consideration is a two-way street. It could be for both of us. I'm helping you help me.
But that makes at the core, that's not being considerate.
That makes you at the center.
No, it means I'm being considerate because I'm actually considering the other person. It just so happens that it benefits both of us.
Consideration is really for yourself first. And to do it because it is the right thing to do. And it is the other people second. But if you're doing it solely just so you can benefit from it, then you're just being...
you're just being you.
Being selfish.
So let's see. Consideration by definition.
He pulled out Webster's dictionary.
This is the beauty of being remote. I got my computer at my hands to rebuttal these arguments. Careful thought, typically over a period of time. So careful thought. That's first about consideration. The second layer could be a payment or a reward. So I'm carefully thinking through and rewarding myself.
No, it doesn't specify you.
Making
it does not specify you.
By making adjustments.
Your interpretation of the text is wrong. But if that's how you want to apply it to your life, that's what it is.
The reward is supposed to be the feeling that you did something
and sensitivity toward others. Yes. A fact or a motive taken into account in deciding or judging something. So a fact or a motive taken into account deciding or judging. So that is a motive taken in account to making a decision or coming to some form of judgment. It doesn't necessarily mean that every piece of consideration that I have in my heart has to be foundationally at the benefit of others.
If that's your interpretation, we'll rock with it, brother.
I don't like Lace. I'm not even taking this from Lace. First of all, I'm not taking this from Lace. Lace,
what did I do?
We talk about Lace, the most inconsiderate person, one of the most inconsiderate people I know, trying to coach me on consideration.
That's not true. I am very considerate. I am very considerate. I'm very considerate.
See,
I don't know, Lace. A lot of your actions have strings attached to them.
Nah, it's not a quid pro quo relationship. I don't. What you mean? Help me understand.
Sometimes it is a quid pro quo. I can't even pronounce it.
How?
Quid
How,
pro
Sway?
quo.
Talk to me.
Lace, you do got a quid pro quo type of lifestyle sometimes, bro.
Because
you do, bro. You do have a quid pro. What is in it for me? What do I get out of this? Basically, what is the benefit to me?
Y'all haven't given one example. Not one.
All right, I give you one. You one.
Don't do it, Troy. Lace is doing. This is a premium gaslighting tactic to reset your hard drive. When someone says, "Give me an example," they are deflecting the conversation and the argument. He's trying to reset your hard drive, and that's why you froze and you tried to think of an example.
He was like, "Okay, I'll give you one."
So then, as soon as you don't have one, Lace go, "Okay, I'm not. You can't even prove that." So you see what I mean? But he isn't.
Okay.
But you look at you trying to find the situation and you can't.
Okay.
He's trying to reset your hard drive.
I retract what I just said.
Mm-hmm.
I retract it.
Hence, I am considerate. Thank you. All right, what we talking about, man?
So Melvin has on a Falcon hat tonight today. So it's only right that we it's football season, guys.
It is. Yes.
High school, college is back in session. Pros is back in session.
Come on,
man. The first week of college was very disappointing.
It really was. It really was.
UNC Chapel Hill gets blown out by TCU.
Well, I wasn't expecting nothing from that game, and it shouldn't have been a primetime game.
It should not have been
for the holiday weekend.
Should not.
Why is that?
Because Monday, the last game of the week on a holiday, that should have been the Monday night game. The Miami Notre Dame game should have been the Monday 8:00 game, and that TCU UNC that could have been 12:00 on Saturday with FAMU and Elon. With the rest of them, up there. We did not need that for Monday at 8:00.
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree. That game.
I don't care about Belichick or UNC football. I don't care about or his girlfriend. None of that, bro.
Well, that's the reason why it was so big is because of Belichick. That's real. Everybody wants to see what Belichick is going to do, coming from the pros down to college to see what it's going to look like. But they've had solid teams for over the past few years. They're not a slouch squad. And I think they saw the opportunity to steal the show, and that's exactly what they did.
I just want them to give Belichick the same energy that they gave Prime about his lack of performance.
They aren't going to do that.
Coming into a new program.
Yeah, it's not advantageous for them to do that because even in the pregame, they were talking about all the Super Bowls and how it's going to translate on the field and stuff like that. But it does boil down to talent, right? Having the right talent to pull off whatever scheme that you have to pull off. But I just don't think he has a talent around him. I think UNC they'll be okay in the ACC, but it looked like the ACC gonna make some noise this year for real. So we look at Florida State being Miami. Back in the mix. When you look at Georgia Tech and what they were able to do at Colorado, so there's some ACC movement. I think is going to be top 2 league, this year out behind the SEC.
Now, you think that they weren't giving Belichick smoke because if Belichick didn't trash talk, Prime came in there being Prime, talking his junk, you know what I'm saying? Hey, we're going to live up to the hype. Hey, listen, he was telling the football players, go ahead and jump in the portal. Hey, your first meeting with the coach, and he tell you to jump in the portal?
If I got to reshape a program, let's be honest. Was he talking junk? He's always talked junk. He's been Prime since Prime came into the league. So it's not like he was putting on a costume because he was a coach now of Colorado. And now he took his cachet, he took his persona from everything else that he's ever done and brought it to coaching. So that's the same attitude that he's carried, since we've been introduced to him. So that's not nothing new. It wasn't like, oh, I'm the coach now, let me talk junk, blah, blah, blah. But if I'm coming into a program that hasn't been winning in over a decade and last season they were 1-11, jump into the portal. Go ahead and jump into the portal because I'm about to start. I'm giving you a chance now. Yeah, before we started, you think you got a chance here before I start bringing in new people, before I start recruiting through the portal, before I start give you a chance to find another program, find another opportunity for you to be able to keep playing football and continue your education, stuff like that. So I think he did the right thing by telling them to jump in the portal. I know people didn't like to hear that, but that's no different than if they were to make it to the NFL and you get through that preseason, they like, hey, that was a good 3 games, couple good practices, man. Good luck to you. Wish you the best. Wish you the best in the future. We're going in a different direction. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like that. People who've never played college sports cannot understand that.
It's the business aspect.
Until you got into that level, like if you've never made it past high school sports or anything like that, you don't necessarily understand that aspect because these coaches is playing for their livelihood. I got kids. I got a wife. I got them. I'm not about to have. I can't have a trash team. Losing is not an option if my job is on the line. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, come on, y'all look at it like that.
In some of these large scale programs, fire me because I was just like Alabama lost last week, right? Florida State. Yeah. They're already calling for that coach to be fired. But if you look at his buyout, $70 million, fire me. Fire me. I'm good. Fire me. I'll go be a coordinator somewhere else. Y'all still paying me. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Fire me. But no,
but to get to that point, you had to be winning though.
But you got to think. Look at his
when you got that kind of contract to have a buyout, you had to be winning.
Right, but I mean, look at Jimbo Fisher when he got let go from A&M, $50 million. Fire me, like Ed Jerome when he left LSU, multi $50 million plus. Fire me, it's okay. Like I'm cool.
That's
It's
true.
cool.
It's true. But even going back to Belichick, like I feel like he's been really quiet. He's just said, "Hey, I'm coming in. I'm gonna run this program. We're gonna do our thing." Even when they bring up his girlfriend, which is crazy, the age gap. I'm not sure if y'all actually heard. She was trying to copyright the term gold digger couple weeks ago. Yeah, because I think that's what she's been called a lot about in this situation. But going back to Belichick, he hasn't even referenced her. Like you'll see a picture or something of them at the beach or something like that, but he doesn't even talk about her. It's like, hey, we in for the program. We're gonna try to do, try to reshape things versus, his vibrato hasn't been as loud as other coaches have been.
Right, but I don't think that that's his persona anyway, because when he was in the
He's always been
league,
like that.
yeah, that's just been, his persona around coaching in general. Everybody come and do their job, we're putting people in the right position to be successful, etc. He's never been that rah type guy. Whereas Prime and others, that's what they have built. That's how they, create followers, is how they present. So
Right.
I mean, because if you talk about Belichick in Cleveland or Belichick in other places, would you want him as your coach? No. So he's in the position because he got the Super Bowls.
Yeah.
So he coached Tom Brady. Like that's what it is. So as a young man coming into a college program, that is really what he's selling. You know what I'm saying? How I get you to the next level, not necessarily how we win now.
Yeah. But so in the same vein of football, my Cowboys lost last night, and
Trash.
I'm seeking a therapist right now because the Cowboys have been very disappointing. Although with their trade of Micah to the Green Bay Packers, and it came out that he had back issues, it was like, all right, I understand why y'all got rid of him now.
He gonna go out this weekend, had 3+ sacks, easy. They go give him an epidural. He gonna be out there balling. Jerry Jones is an idiot.
Dallas
bro.
fans have so much hope for Micah's failure to justify this trade,
It's
bro.
crazy.
They are hoping bad.
And that's not considered. That's not considered.
They are hoping so bad that he fails or Green Bay does terrible, so that way there's some type of justification to make sense of this trade.
Because it don't make
was
sense.
just like a shock, like, I can't believe that you would do this, and everyone was tight. And then after they found out about his little back issue, whatever, now everyone was like, oh, it makes sense now why Jerry didn't want to. But I'm like, before that though, he had offered him all that money to be one of the highest paid, so like Micah said, it had to be something else about the deal, because it was way more than just money, because I think Dallas offered him more money than Green Bay to stay, but he still didn't want the contract. So there's something else,
right?
To that conversation. But Dallas, the game last night, y'all didn't lose by that much, but I mean, I think y'all did better than expected, especially defensively. Y'all can't stop the run to save y'all life
at all.
But y'all DB showed up. I was surprised to see Bland and Diggs hold them boys to, I think it was like 24 yards or something like that total.
But you got to think too, AJ Brown wasn't really in the mix, and Philly's not a deep ball pause team. That's just not a true aspect of it. It's they just play that levels game. Roll Hurts out, dink and dunk, and we get down the field. A lot of that read option type stuff. But we'll see what they do when somebody pushing that pill down the field.
How y'all feel about my man being ejected for spitting on Dak?
Yeah, he got to go. That's automatic. That's automatic. He got to go. Automatic, bro. In any officiating space,
Lace a referee
basketball,
now.
football,
Lace just turned
whatever.
into a referee.
No, for real. This is real spill. Like this is real spill.
You just turned it. You about to tell us a section 3.7 of the
absolutely
rules
of the personal conduct clause. If you do that, it's right. Because if you recall what the White Hat said, due to his actions, unsportsmanlike actions, nobody knew what he had done until all the cameras started zooming in. So yeah, he out of here. He out of here.
have y'all seen the videos of the kids now? The new celebration for the kids who play football, they get into the end zone and they start humping the ground. Have y'all seen that joint?
Nah.
Yeah, that's some Florida kids doing that. Not
Yeah.
all of them. It's the Florida kids.
Florida, a different place for football. So I mean, and they
But
just
that
announced this
was funny,
week.
too.
They just announced this week that they aren't requiring any vaccinations. So ain't no telling what's running through them little veins at this point.
That.
So that might be why they do it.
Yeah, I seen that.
Okay.
That's the celebration.
Okay. So since we're on the talk of vaccinations,
no, we're not on the talk of vaccinations. We on the talk of football. And they mentioned vaccinations.
All right, so Mel,
random tidbits of information at the most
random.
No,
because I'm connected. You got to be. You worried about? See, this is how I know we different, Mel. You worry about the mailman running over your goddamn mailbox. I'm talking about world issues, bro.
That is a world issue. That is a world issue, and I got plenty of issues that I don't have time to be snatching every single issue from the world to add to my plate. What they got going on in Florida with vaccinations is not at the top of my memory bank. I can't keep up with all the issues of the world, bro. I got to pick and choose my battles, bro.
We'll circle back around to that, but imagine Miles getting a play, 29 sweep. He gets the ball, he scores, gets in the end
zone. That's a crazy
play.
29 sweep. That's wild. That is definitely that's definitely a 2001 play.
It is. And I ain't played since 2001.
Were you pulling on that play, Trey?
Right. Were you pulling around the edge to set the edge?
That's a good question. So in 2001, I played center, so I wasn't sweeping then. In 2000, yes, I probably would have pulled on that play. But Miles gets the ball, he gets in the end zone, he scores, and he starts humping the ground. What do you as a parent do?
I'd probably laugh. I'd probably laugh because I'd be so turned up that he scored that I wouldn't even be worried about the celebration for real.
Right. Mel would be gassed about the ability to get in the end zone.
Yeah,
for sure.
I would. Yeah.
Whereas as Uncle Shan, I'd be like, hey, yo, we got to have a talk. Because there's no way. There's no way that's what you came up with. Like,
I'd probably laugh, like, because kids be having all them trends and stuff that they be doing. I probably would ask him where he got it from or why he did that thing. But I would probably laugh. I'd probably laugh first.
They don't even know what they doing for real. They just imitating something they saw somebody
other people doing.
Very true.
Right.
Very true.
I mean, that okay. Maybe I say that because I've coached Little League football quite a bit, and just being in the huddle with the kids, listening to them talk and stuff about just a lot of what they be dealing with. When they score touchdowns and do stuff, it's funny. Like it's legit funny because you be around them all the time.
It's funny and it's generally a surprise to them, to be quite honest. Like I can't believe
a lot of them just surprised they scored. Right? Yeah, a lot of them are happy they scored. Like I can't believe I just scored in front of everybody.
Yeah, I mean, we was just talking about orange slices at halftime, and you scored a tud, and now
now you're humping the ground. You're so excited. See this, and we done talked about this before. My viewpoint on celebrating is way different than a lot of other people's thing, because that's the type of stuff I don't care about. Do I care if somebody humped the ground after they score a touchdown? No. We practice 2 a day. We've been in the heat. We've been smacking up against each other with pads and helmets and all type of stuff. I done got injured. I done got hurt in practice. Now I score a touchdown and you telling me I can't celebrate? I got to put the ball down and just walk back over there. I'm not allowed to, be goofy for 5 or 10 seconds. I think that's ridiculous. Yeah, I think that when you talking about worried about the wrong stuff, that's what I think about worrying about the wrong stuff. And a bunch of people who don't like losing got together somewhere someday and said, I don't like losing, but I also don't like people celebrating while I'm losing. So let's put rules around celebration.
Well, like even speaking of which, I don't know if y'all heard about the situation with Clemson in the LSU game last week, where we know the transfer portal is crazy. It's hard to keep up with who transferring from where to where they end up. So it was a kid that plays for LSU now. He played for Houston last year. And in the bowl game against BYU, he got into a fight and got ejected. He was supposed to start for LSU this past week, but Dabo Swinney made the call, like to the NCAA, like, do y'all realize that he got ejected from the last game, so he should have to sit the first half? I was so glad Clemson lost. I'm like, who does that, yo? Like, who?
That's crazy.
See what I'm talking about?
Crazy. That's crazy.
See what I'm talking about?
Now that's crazy. Let the man play.
Like, come on. So they followed him in the transfer portal or whatever, and then they put 2 and 2 together. Like, yeah, he's supposed to sit the first half. I was so glad Clemson lost, man. I can't stand stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a good point, though. Should the penalty go to the player or go to the team?
Well,
go to the
again,
player.
so he got ejected from the bowl game, but again, I guess it follows because the NCAA didn't even recognize it until he called it out. So I guess with their protocols, they put 2 and 2 together, and he had to sit out the first half. But it's just like, come on, man. Like,
it follows the player, and I think they just need to be more relaxed with the celebration. Like, if ain't nobody out there, racially slurring each other, something like that, like somebody dancing a hump in the air after a touchdown or something like that, that's got to be like on the bottom of our care list, bro. We shouldn't be worried about stuff like that. Like, I get a big hit in the game and I flex on the person that I hit, and that's 15 yards. Like, come on, bro.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's ridiculous. This is a contact sport, and now I can't celebrate about contact. It just don't make sense. Like, when boxers knock somebody down, we look for that celebration, that dance. They don't get penalized or points taken or deducted from accomplishing the goal. If I'm on defense, my goal is to try to, number one, get the tackle, secure the ball, but I'm trying to inflict as much pain on the other team as possible. So if I get a big hit, that's what we practice.
Right.
That's what they teaching us when we at practice, you know what I'm saying? So then I succeed, and now it's like, all right, you're not allowed to celebrate about it though.
Yeah.
So I think that's crazy.
Yeah.
In the same vein of talking about sports, Travis Kelce is engaged to
Don't care.
Taylor Swift. Why don't you care?
Don't care. I'm just mad that this is breaking news. I get tired of hearing about. I don't care who's engaged to who, bro.
I mean,
like
it's
any
too,
athlete, I don't care if it's Travis or not. I just don't care. People get engaged every day.
But it's 2 big names, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, the girl who sings about heartbreak all the time and is the leader of all white middle-aged and middle school kids across the nation.
The leader.
Bro, when she said she was voting for Kamala, people turned on her. That's how much.
Of course.
That's how much.
Well, if she was really a leader, they wouldn't have turned on her. They would have just followed suit.
Hey, but when you MAGA strong, you MAGA strong. I even Taylor Swift can't even change your.
That probably would have made me reconsider what type of person I am if I saw what type of people were following me. You know what I mean? Because if my internal belief is I'm voting for Kamala, but everyone that follows me seems to think that I'm in some way, shape, or form a Trump supporter, so that's why they were supporting me. That would make me kind of reevaluate, what do I be doing on a day-to-day basis that makes you think that is, my lifestyle or whatever it was. So that would make me reevaluate my life. But if she was really a leader, they would have followed suit with.
I don't think people make the correlation because they view entertainers as entertainers, that they shouldn't have an opinion on anything outside of you entertaining me. So the fact that her personal decision to do whatever she chose to do in the as far as who she voted for to influence me as a person just showcases that people don't follow the issues. They worry about their trash can, not necessarily what's going on around them in the world today. So, that's what I equate that to.
Listen, Mel said a couple episodes when they start doing this.
I told you, stop listening, bro. Stop listening, bro. I'm trying to tell you. You gotta turn your ears off, bro.
Oh my goodness.
Lace don't try to minimize. See, that's not considered. Remember when I told you Lace is inconsiderate? It's inconsiderate to try to minimalize what someone else is experiencing because you think it's not as important as what
I'm just using it as
an
example for understanding.
You think that Florida vaccinations is more important than this is why I'm gonna turn into everybody else. You think that Florida vaccinations is more important than my reality and my experience. And my reality in this moment is that my trash can't keep getting ran over. And that's a big deal to me. That's important. So because it's important to me, it should be important to you, Lace. And you should.
And that's where we have a different philosophy. That's where the misalignment took place.
Oh my goodness.
I don't care if they get engaged. I don't care if they get engaged, bro. What I do want to stop talking about though with Travis is the constant run back of his relationship. What was that black girl? What's her name that he was with?
Yeah, I can't remember her name.
I think it was
but
Michaela.
yeah, I know you're talking about,
I want to say Michaela, but I don't think that's right. So that's why I don't want to say her name. But just the constant rehashing of that relationship is like, oh, Travis. Every time she pops up on the internet at some type of modeling event or she's half naked somewhere, or something like that, it's just like, oh, Trav fumbled this joint. This is who he is supposed to be with. Blah blah blah. This is up a Billy.
Business
I'm
decisions,
up a Billy
bro.
right now.
Business decisions.
I'm up a Billy right now.
Right.
IG model, baddie, Billy. I'll take the billion, please. Sign me up for the billion
Absolutely.
package. So I don't understand that constant conversation. And sometimes it's men too that be like, oh, Trav. I'm like, bro, you worried about who Trav dating is ridiculous. I'm trying to get this fantasy team going. Is he
You feel me?
available? Is he questionable, doubtful this week? Are we playing? How many points? I'm trying to get this fantasy game going.
Yeah, no, I think that, I mean, happy for them. Hope they, do their thing, and prosper. What is always intriguing though is his switch up. Like Trav switched up crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like he's the epitome of I ain't got no type.
That's
like
true.
for real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he went from one aspect to a completely different aspect. But I get it, you know what I mean? Their relationship is their relationship.
I
But
don't.
it seems very it's just interesting. But
That would
again,
be my
that's where
only gripe.
there is a certain lens of privilege that some people have in which they can switch up in that way. So that's a different conversation for a different day, more philosophical, but that's the switch up that is interesting.
Now this philosopher.
Well, everything
how do
ties
you
into a certain aspect of
See?
belonging.
That's when I stopped listening to Lace, bro. When he started talking about I'm gonna come back to it, Troy. Go ahead and ask your question, bro.
How do you handle your friends that don't have a type though? Like you want them I want my friends to be with good-looking people so we can all look good together. But you ain't got no type, and so you messing up the aesthetic of the group photo. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But
how do you
and my initial response is you're worried about the wrong thing. because your friends who may not have a type, they're not worried about. The only type they worried about is if that snapper gonna snap, and you're worried about the wrong thing. You're worried about the wrong thing.
Oh,
Troy, like I want you to have a good looking partner so that when we take pictures, we all look good together when we take
absolutely.
None of the other stuff
care.
matters. Nothing else matters.
Like
I don't care if you're happy. I just want y'all to look good together.
Yeah.
Right.
I do be wanting my friends to look good with who they with though. I want them to look good for each other, not at my expense. Like not like so that I feel good about it. I just want them to look good, like they pair well. You know what I mean? Like, do y'all compliment each other well from that aspect?
Right.
Not necessarily they gotta have the beauty standard or type that I think they should have. Like I think that's the biggest aspect because I mean all of my friends are married now, minus one person. But so I think most of my guys all kind of have a type. Like now that I think about it, like everyone kind of has one, but for the few that don't, I don't think it really ever bothered me that they didn't have a type. I never really thought about it like that. Like, dang, you ain't got no type. Why you ain't got no type? It's like, should we have a type, or should we be more like the ones that don't?
That's true. That's a good point. I mean,
I guess the question is, do you have a type? And that's something we could poll the listeners on. Do you have a type? If you reflect, do you actually have a type?
Oh, most people have a type. I got a type.
Oh, we know you do, but I don't think most people do.
I
don't think most people do.
Oh, I definitely have one.
You're the exception, not the rule, Mel.
I'm always the exception for the most part.
Here we go.
I'm just saying.
Travis Cam Brown over here. He the exception.
But I think okay, so all right. So what I'm referring to is I know somebody who has a type and a physical type that they like, right? And more than often, that type of build comes with a set of personalities that is like, hey, bro, that ain't gonna work. He seems to pick the ones that don't have the type of personality that works with him. And so because of his preference, he overlooks the red flags at the same time. Your preference is one thing. That's cool. But you also need to dig a little bit deeper and see that there is honestly, now that I think about it, he might be more attracted to the personality, and it just so happens that they are this at the same time. Yes. I don't know. That's not what I was going to say. I wasn't going to say that. I was just saying the archetype with the personality is what's happening right now.
So Mel, how come when Troy used his hands, you ain't stopped listening? How come it's only when because he over here the archetype.
Because Troy's hands are, I'm trying to clean this up so that I don't get in trouble. I'm trying to mend the fence hands. These are, I'm giving you false hope hands right here.
Oh my God.
We off that.
No, I know you trying to. Let's get off it. You brought it up.
So my man who I'm cool with, we will probably be friends in real life.
Wait, before you do that, let's say this one last thing, because I think I know where you're about to go, and it's gonna change the topic of discussion. The one gripe, back to Lace's point, the one gripe that I would have about Travis, not necessarily that he's dating Taylor Swift, but just a lot of the reasons why Black people liked him was because he was giving off that Paul Wall persona.
I'm down with the blacks.
Drop fade, Tim's, snapbacks. I like Black women, blah, blah, blah. I listen to, blah on the weekend, yada, yada, yada. So I think a lot of Black people gravitated to, that, thinking that was his authentic self. You know how Black people always trying to, everyone's invited to the cookout type of thing. So because that's what he was representing, it made sense that he was with Slim or whatever. And it just was crazy to see the 180 from that by being, with Taylor. It's like, I know that we all can make adjustments sometimes. Our girl like to see us a certain way, but to completely I ain't seen a drop fade on this man since. I ain't seen no Tims. I ain't, what I'm saying? I ain't seen none of that since. So it's kind of just feeling like maybe he was just appropriating the culture for the moment because he was with a Black woman and not necessarily because that was his authentic self. So that would be my only issue with him, not necessarily who he's dating or who he's engaged to or whatever like that. I just, if you putting it on, be real about what you're putting on, or or don't. So,
and that's why I led with there's a certain lens of privilege that he can operate from and do that and have that switch up and still be accepted in new rooms that regardless of his history or whatever has a certain lens. It comes from a certain space of privilege.
The part that gets to me is that you're in this relationship, and now it's not that you're just in a relationship with this person. Now you have to have a publicist for your relationship. You have to make sure that you have well, you already had security guards, but now you have to make sure that wherever you go, there's extra security and there's things of this nature. And it's just like, I don't even know if they can have a true relationship with outside of the public being involved with it. That's probably one of the toughest parts about a lot of these celebrity type relationships. And from an outsider looking in, who sometimes I also think, was this curated? Did somebody was like, hey man, we need to make sure that your image looks like this. We need to link you up with this, or we need to make you more down to earth. So we need to link you up with a football player. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of the stuff we question if the relationships are legitimate or not, but I know some people are just like, I don't really care at all about this relationship, so none of it matters. But I hope the best for them. I hope that it is real love, and I hope that, what I'm saying, it all works out.
Yeah.
Speaking of working out and relationships that actually have working out, my man Russell Wilson. Gotta love him. Gotta love him. Gotta love good old Russell. Post went out and he said that I want to give a shout out to the family, someone, some of some sorts. And he names Future's son, gives him the last name of Wilson. And so the speculation is that the future son that he has had with Ciara has changed. They have changed his name to Wilson now. Thoughts, comments, concerns on that one? Before, all right, while y'all thinking, let me say this. In order for his name to have changed, I don't know the legalities of it or anything like that, but I imagine the biological father had to give consent to that legal change of
I
the
don't
name.
think so. It depends on if
Not
he's on the
necessarily.
paperwork or not. And I don't think you need both of your parents' consent to legally change your name. I don't know the process for changing a name, but I don't think that you need both parents' involvement to change the name. That's just my understanding. I could look it up real quick, but I don't think that you need both parents' agreement to do that.
Yeah, I mean, Future Wilson is that's a wild name. You know that's
Why
just
is that a wild name?
that's just I mean, that's just an interesting name to me. But I mean, I don't necessarily see an issue with it. I mean, he is obviously active in the young man's life and pretty much raising him. So along with Ciara, et cetera. So, and I don't know the length of Future's involvement in his son's life. So I mean, hey, different strokes, different folks. But if it works for them, it makes him feel more included in the family, maybe something of that nature, because we don't know the backstory in detail behind it. So if it benefits the young man, so be it.
Yeah, now this is what Google's AI said, and I don't know how true it is, but the first thing it says, to change a child's name, you must file a petition for the change of name with your county's court, obtain the other parent's consent, or serve them with a notice if they object.
Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah,
So basically, it says you have to notify them there's potentially a hearing, and a judge can rule in the case of the petition to change the name. But it doesn't say that there's no way to change it if the other parent doesn't consent to the change.
right, all right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Based off what I'm looking at. So it's possible that she could change it because she has all the other stuff, legal guardianship, birth certificate, all the stuff that they're saying are required. So it's even if he disagrees or petitions, there's no guarantee that the name could still not be changed.
Right.
Which is crazy. Which is a crazy thing to me. And first of all, the name change is crazy. But I've always had issue with name when it comes to boys I don't want to say for a long time, but just as long as I can remember having these conversations, because I used to go back and forth on this concept about, and I know this happens a lot in rural areas where the belief is that if a child is born out of wedlock, then or the son is born out of wedlock, I'll just say son because that's what I'm talking about. Born out of wedlock, then the mother gives the baby her last name. And I always had like a rebuttal to that because of the fact of, how lineage and legacy is carried through the name.
Yes.
And, obviously my viewpoint is different for girls because a lot of them will get married and they'll take on a new last name and different things like that, but they'll still have family blood or whatever. But for boys, name passes through us carrying that name and creating more whatever. So whether we're married or not, that's my son, that's my legacy, that's my lineage at hand. So the name to me is very important when we're talking about boys. So I always felt like it was inconsiderate, to use one of Lace's words, to be like,
Yeah.
oh, because we're not married, I'm not gonna give you his last name, or something like that. So it's just one of those instances where not necessarily that I could I don't want to say have any other opinion other than yes, you can do what you want to do, but I think it's kind of, I'm not gonna say classless, but I think that it's rude to do that because I know that Future is active with Future. He may not be active with other kids, but
Yeah.
I've definitely seen. Okay, let me not act like I know him personally, but from what we've seen or what they've showed, he's been active and engaged with him and has even expressed frustration with just how they've handled the interaction since they've been married in terms of just like parenting and how they've handled things, with him. So obviously there is some level of care, concern, an interest in relationship there. So that would be my thing. Is like, why are we doing that? Like, what is the
Yeah.
point of that? Why are we robbing him of his last name, or Future's opportunity for his son to carry his name in those instances? Um, and I know people might use the language of, we want everyone to feel welcome. We want everyone to feel like they're under one umbrella, under one family. Everyone has the same last name, yada, yada, yada. I've been through that with my siblings having different last names. And sometimes you like, well, why my last name, not their last name, or why we got different last names? So you kind of want that
Right.
cohesive unity. But, that's a benefit of a two-parent household and two people having kids with one another. When you got a blended family, that happens, so you got to take on the responsibility and ownership of a blended family and what comes with that. So I just think there's a bunch of layers to it, but it was kind of wild to see that they would just slap Wilson on his last name like that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing good and well that if once you make that post, everyone's going to pick that joint apart.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, it's in the hands of public opinion at that point. But yeah, I understand where Melvin is coming from. I hadn't heard that the whole out of wedlock piece. But yeah, I could see some connection. So yeah.
I got two things. One, I actually know of people where the mother had the child out of wedlock, but purposely gave their baby the father's last name so that the child can benefit from whatever the father had going on. So if the father was, had a job where, it had a whole bunch of benefits and stuff like that, it's like, I want to make sure my kid don't
Mm-hmm.
miss out on things like that. And so the child end up having a different name than the father. And in a little deeper type of conversation, I know you said that, Future has been involved, or from what we can see has been involved. And so talking about like my last name. My last name is my mother's last name. It's not my father's last name. And so technically by lineage purposes, I'm a Spencer. But by on paper, I'm a Burnett. And sometimes I've wondered, why couldn't I have been a Spencer? But I was raised by the Burnett, so technically I should have been a Burnett. You know what I mean? And why my question has been sometimes, how come my father didn't necessarily, fight for my name to be a Spencer?
Mhm.
And I actually was just thinking about this today. Sometimes people, because the question came up somewhere where they were talking about Will Smith's episode on the Fresh Prince where his father was like, why my father don't want me, man? It made me think sometimes the fathers don't want to interfere. One, partially because they may not want to be a part of the kid's life. That's one thing. But I think for some of them, they think that the child is being well taken care of right now. And if they interact, they're just going to mess up the development of the child. Like they're taking a role in that child's life is like, why would I want to mess something up when they already got something good going on? And so, and in essence, when it comes to, you know, the mother making the primary decisions for the child, it's partially because the father has just lifted up their hands and said, "Hey, I trust you with it. You
Mhm.
got it." You know,
Which is,
and
I mean, if it boils down, that's just a chump move, regardless of whatever
mm,
decision or reason why they decided not to be involved or not to assist, even if they do have positive things going on well with them, or even if they don't. That's just to me, that's a chump move and a cop out, an
Mhm.
excuse to not handle your responsibility in which you should. Period. So, um, I get it in concept, but the reality of it, yeah, nah, that's some chump behavior, in my opinion.
mhm,
I just think there's layers to it, especially when we talk about the naming. If I'm a guy who, what I'm saying, got a girl pregnant with something like that, and I told her I didn't want the child, and she decided to have the child anyway, and because she knows I didn't want the child, kind of assumes I don't want any involvement, so she gives the child her last name because she doesn't expect me to be around. I think that's totally different than maybe we have a child, I'm gonna be involved, I want to be involved, but for the sake of us not being married, you decide I'm gonna be spiteful and get a baby my last name anyway, your last name anyway, and not, what I'm saying, in that particular situation. But I don't think that a lot of men who aren't involved in their children's lives really understand the impact of just a present father in general.
Correct.
Whether, you feel like you
Yeah.
have the skills, whether you feel like you have it all nailed down, whether you feel like you got a plan or not, just your presence, and I'm not gonna say drunken presence or abusive presence. Like, I'm taking that stuff off the table, but I gotta mention it because there's gonna be somewhere who says, "Well, what if the dad is terrible?" Blah blah blah. We talk about men who are actually gonna be in their kid's life and are upstanding and stuff like that. So I'm just talking about the impact at many levels of just being in your kid's life, whether you feel like, mom got it under control or she got it figured out. I know it seems like a good thing, and we just gonna talk frankly in this situation. Mom could be providing all the right stuff, a stable a household, and everything like that. But when your dad is missing, you don't have a good thing going. It feels like you
Yeah.
have a good
No,
thing
yeah.
going, but you really don't have a good thing going because
Mhm.
there's so much missing from your life that you're not even aware of.
Yeah.
A lot of kids get their confidence from their father, their ability to navigate their emotions from their father, their ability to deal with and handle life from their father, their covering and protection from their father. There's a lot of things that you get from your father that, although moms do the best that they can, they just can't provide in the way that a dad can to their children. And, plenty of studies have showed the impacts on how a child or we as people turn out when we have our dad in our lives versus when we don't have our dad in our lives. And that's whether we in a split home, single home, or two-parent home. When your dad is around, your trajectory is different. And I think if a lot more men understood that aspect, I feel like we would see a shift just in that space. But I ain't gonna act like that. I definitely feel like I'm gonna say millennial men have created a shift in what fatherhood, especially what Black fatherhood and representation looks like when they talk about studies
In
and
a positive
numbers.
way?
In
You
a
talking about in a
positive way.
positive.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
a very positive way. Y'all can look it up. I don't got it at the ready, but there's plenty of studies that's showing the increase um in percentage of African American male fathers in the millennial age gap and below who are actually more involved than other races or sex with their children and stuff like that,
Yeah.
more involved in certain aspects of their lives, more involved in rearing and parenting and stuff. So we're definitely making the shift and doing, I think it's becoming more aware of just like what this process, looks like, what the impact looks like. So we starting to see it, but I think if more men really understood just at base level how different their child's life is, their personal life would be, I think we definitely would see more men trying to take on, that action. Cause I just had an experience recently, even with um school. Like I tell guys all the time, go to your kid's school. Go to your school. Go to the school. You ain't got to be at all the appointments. You ain't got to be at the PTA meeting. You ain't got to be when they have open house and you go walk around and meet the teachers and all that stuff. Go to open
It's
house. Be
different.
at the school. Show up to pick up your kid one day on the humble. Get them early from school. Let the school see that child got a dad, because I promise you, they treat them kids differently when they know they have a dad at home. I've seen it with my own two eyes. When the school know that that child has a dad, Black, white, indifferent, they treat those kids way differently than kids who don't have a father that shows up to school. I've seen that with my own two eyes, bro. We were at open house and Miles' schedule was wrong. For some reason, he was supposed to be in honor classes because he's always been in honor class. It was missing from, the schedule. There was some back and forth towards the end of the last year regarding like end of year testing where, Sharita was getting information saying like because he didn't pass his math end of year test by 1 point, he probably wouldn't be eligible for honors classes going into next year. Although he had an A in the class the whole year, they were trying to keep him out of whatever because of the test. So I, was going back and forth with her about that. And ultimately, when his schedule came out, he wasn't in honors classes, and I felt like it was as a result of that previous conversation about, EOG or whatever. And Sharita was just going to kind of let it ride, like, well, this is schedule, this is what they said, following the rules. This is schedule, this is what
Yeah,
they
yeah,
said,
yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, nah, he's supposed to be in honors class. He been in honors class. He gonna be in honors class. He's obviously capable of doing the work. I'm not gonna let them define his, abilities by the end of year test. That's more for teachers and students anyway. But that's another conversation. So I went up to the desk, asked her, I said, hey, want to talk to somebody about my son's schedule. Seeing that it's wrong. He's supposed to be in honors class. I'm not showing that reflected on the schedule. I want to see if we can go ahead and get that corrected. So she's like, at first she was like blowing me off, like, oh, let me see what I could do. She's a new teacher. I've never seen her before. So she's like, let me see what I could do. Let me see if I can find somebody. So she go to the front office, go get one of the admins, bring them out. She tried to explain the situation first to them, I guess, to get them abreast or whatever. So when the administrator came around the corner and saw my face, who she's used to seeing, she was like, oh, this the family you're talking about? And she's like, yeah, this group right here. She's like, oh, Mr. Brown, come with me. Just she recognized Mr. Brown, come with me. schedule got changed in about 30 seconds, got a whole new schedule, everything was fixed. But just by
That's
the
what's
fact
up.
of her recognizing me from
Oh,
being
yeah,
at the
yeah,
school,
yeah.
you know, created that opportunity for her to be like, oh, this family? Oh, okay, yeah, we gonna go ahead and come over here and do that. So it's just, like little stuff like that, you know, like just show up. Just show up. I
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
say
yeah.
no better way
That's
to show
real.
up. Ain't no rule book to parenting, bro. You ain't gonna have all the answers. You're gonna figure it out as you go. Kids gonna be different, whether you got 1 or 3, they all gonna be different. Ain't no real, we all figuring it out, bro. You just gotta learn. You gotta learn as you go.
Yeah.
And the good thing about that is your kids ain't never been here before. So they don't know what it's supposed, they don't know how it's
And
supposed to
they
go
don't
neither.
know. Yeah.
They don't know how it's
Yeah.
supposed to go neither. You know what I'm saying? So just be there for your kids, bro. That's what they care about
Yep.
most. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So I just encourage everybody, bro. Just show up, bro. That's
Nah,
all.
you hit the nail on the head. Like even at Cia school had a situation before. It's kind of similar or whatever. And the guidance counselor was like, "You all right, Shan? You good? You good? You all right?" Yeah. So we got that situation. So after we left, Cia was like, "Did Mr. Such and Such call you Shan? Like who does that? Like that." So you're right. That presence, that ability
Yeah.
to connect, engage, that kind of thing. It does matter. It does matter.
Did Miles feel good about being put back in the honors courses, or was he like, dang, I kind of wanted to slack off a little bit?
He was kind of like, dang, like he don't. I think at first he was nervous because he thought that the teacher he had last year was going to be his teacher for 8th grade, and they didn't really gel well last year. So he was kind of just like, oh, I don't want to be with her again. But once he found out he had a different teacher, he was fine. But that's just strategic anyway. I put him in honors classes, number one, because he can do the work, but mostly just to get him away from the rest of the kids so that he can be in class and actually pay attention. Like,
I feel you.
nah, I'm trying. I want, when my son go to school, I want him to have a good experience at every level, bro. I want him to be able to do his work, to have a good time in class. I don't want him to be, overly distracted. There's different things like that. I don't want him with, riffraff and all that other type of stuff. Just like my parents didn't want me with riffraff when I was little, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Lace, get him,
come on,
Lace.
bro. Nah,
You're
you gotta get
Republican
me.
Brown. That go
You gotta
Republican
get
Brown.
me, nigga. Nah, I ain't
That
no
go
Republican. I'm a
Republican
parent.
Brown.
I ain't no Republican. I'm a real parent.
My son will not be around any riffraff in this school.
No, if I felt like that, see, that's how I feel like. You see, Lace, that's how I feel about people who send their kids to private school. I don't send my kids to private school. My kids go to public school. They always gonna go to public school. That was one of the things that I talked to Sharita about, because I wanted them to be able to have experience and exposure to kids of all social and economic backgrounds, race, ethnicities, and stuff like that. And so that's why I haven't put them in private school, for all the other reasons why people say. Most of the people who you talking about Republican Brown, that's how I feel about people who put their kid in private school.
Well, no, I mean, the thing is, if you look at the research, private schools deal with all the same things, because even with
Absolutely.
a lot of the kids that get scholarships or get have funding, public funding to go to this private school, is just moving one individual to a different setting in which they may have more access to thrive. But it's really the system and how they are being taught that is different, hence why people think private school is so much better than public. In some ways it can be, but it's more systematic more than individual. But that's just, again, my opinion.
Why I've seen this a lot. Why do some parents go private initially for elementary up into sometimes middle school, and then maybe middle school to high school, they make the transition to say, hey, now you can go to public?
A lot of it's the
sports.
foundational pieces in which in how they're taught going through elementary to middle school, et cetera. The exposure they may have, the resources that they may have, really creating that foundation of learning and how information is obtained, et cetera, and the resources compared to public. Because if you look at even in Winston, public school, they down 80 million as a school system.
Crazy,
So
bro.
you do the math. You do the math. Ain't nobody learning nothing. They just go to school trying to keep the doors open.
Private school is
So,
having a
come on,
similar
man.
issue, though. And that's the other issue. That's the other, I'm not gonna say bad messaging. That's just the hyper focus on the public school system, because private
Right.
schools are dealing with a lot of the same issues that public schools are dealing with, but because it's private and people equate private up here versus public being down here, it seems like
Right.
private school is so much better. But private schools are dealing with the same issues: high teacher turnover, limited
Oh yeah.
resources, lack of
Yeah.
funding, all type of stuff. They dealing with the exact same thing, but because private is attached to it, it doesn't look as bad for them versus the public school system. So, public schools get bad, and most of the world is run by people who went to public school, and that's just. I'm not against no one who wants to send their kid to private school because they think they're getting a leg up, but most of the world is run by public school students.
Now, granted, if it's like an early college program, something like that, where you leave high school,
you can do
with associates and all that kind of thing, and that's what I'm saying. But a lot of it is individuals don't understand the pathways into doing that. Just like case in point, when me and Melvin and others, we went out to a shindig years ago. We had the VIP cards. Melvin was like, I'm VIP. I'm getting in early. My nigga said, oh, nah, you got the card. You got to get back in the public line like everybody else.
Hey, Lay set that whole part up just so he can talk about that.
He did.
Ain't got nothing to do with nothing.
It all correlates. You can all bring it back to one core. You can bring it back. You can bring it back.
All right, let's before we get up out of here, guys, we Brother Lace has said that he got another one for us today.
What would you do? Right? So come on in, come close, step into my office. So what would you do? You were married, you get a divorce from your wife. I don't know who prompted the divorce, but you go through a divorce or whatever. You, as the man, like, okay, cool. You haven't worked in 14 years. I'm gonna give you an opportunity to get on your feet. So you can stay in the house for the next 6 months. You need to get a job, get on your feet, etc. You got to be out by the end of the year. Everything is flowing well. You know what I mean? Shorty gets the job, but 3 months in, she quits and says that I can't serve two masters. I can't work and serve God. So I'm just gonna stay. So as the man, do you at the 6 months is coming up, do you put her on the street because that was her personal choice and decision, or do you let it ride? What do you do in this situation? What would you do?
Can I get more context on the story before I say what I would do?
What you got? What questions do you have?
I know you said they were married for 14 years. Did she not work for all 14 years?
She didn't work for all 14, but she was able to get a 6-figure job upon the
So she didn't work
divorce.
all 14 years. She didn't work all 14 years, but secured a 6-figure job right out the gate with a 14-year gap in her work history.
Yep.
Wait, ho. Wait.
Troy about to get mad. Troy like, I've been hustling for 20 years.
Exactly.
Troy like, I've been hustling for 20 years.
Yes.
She been sitting on the couch and she just get divorced and find a 6-figure job.
6-figure job right off the bat without having any experience?
Again, I don't know what experience prior to the marriage and not working, but yes, 6-figure gig.
That's a big gap though. 14 years is a big gap in your work resume. Well, first of all, congratulations to this person for securing a 6-figure job after 14 years.
Oh, and had the other piece I want to include, and in the divorce got a settlement, so got a lump sum. So you get a lump sum. I'm allowing you to stay in the crib. You got 6 months to get on your feet, get a job, etc. And then you got to be out the crib because that's the final asset in which we need to divide the crib.
So the house is going for sale. The ex-husband's not going to live in it. They have to split the asset and take the
Correct.
So property settlement basically. I think 6 months, given that context of needing to get rid of the house as part of the property settlement to completely finalize the divorce and everyone be able to move on. At first, I was going to say that I don't think that 6 months is a fair window of time for a 14-year gap in your work history to then try to get on your feet by yourself.
But you got a lump. You got a lump sum.
I got that. You invited the lump sum after you initially gave us the the breakdown. You're revealing the details of the divorce.
Well, I wanted to see y'all's initial response first. Just
I mean, because I'm gonna get back to it. But at first I was gonna say I didn't think that 6 months was a fair amount of time for a 14-year marriage if someone wasn't working to get on their feet. I think a year would have been more appropriate. But given the context of we need to sell this house so that we can move on with considering the lump sum, I think that 6 months is more than enough time to do that because we do need to get rid of this house. And I don't care if you get an apartment or whatever, but you got to go so that we could, in the interim, get you an apartment. You figure out your living situation after that with your lump sum and whatever we make from this house after we split it. But I think that I definitely am going to stick to the 6-month schedule if she was able to secure a 6-figure job, have an opportunity to have everything in place and got a lump sum, and then just decided to quit talking about I'm going to just serve the Lord and be glad.
I can't serve two masters. I can't work and serve the Lord.
Yeah.
What you want me to do?
And I hope he got a ram in the bush for you, because when that 6 months is over with, I hope for you that he has provision laid for you after this 6 months, because I'm sticking with this plan.
So this actually concerns me a lot, because if that is her true theology, that she can't serve two masters, work and serve the Lord, then I would have to say her church body, her church community has failed her in her personal development. No, I'm being dead serious, because
I'm laughing because I know that you are. The first thing you went to is her church body and her
yes, she has been failed.
Troy, she does not want to serve two masters. She don't want to work. She been 14 years not working, and now she getting divorced, and she just don't want to work. She went to work for 3 months and said, you know what? I don't like this. This is trash. I'm used to I done got accustomed to not working, so I'm going to quit.
Yeah.
Saying I can't serve two masters, she was being sarcastic and facetious about.
Okay. If she was being sarcastic and facetious, that's one thing. But if she was dead serious in the sense that I can't work and be a follower of Christ, then you have been failed in your personal development and upbringing.
Then what would you do? You talking about her Christian theology? What would you do?
Let me break down the whole thing. I needed to start at point A so I can work myself to Z.
God, no.
Golly. Also too, I as her ex-husband, I have to say, I must I would have to say that in the process of us being married, my ex-wife now, she's broken, completely broken, like to the point of where she can't even function as an individual. And so, although she may have to get up out the crib, all right, you know what? This has been the Manly D's podcast. It's your boy Troy. I'm sick of this.
The fact that you said she's completely broken and she can't even function in life.
She can't function in life.
Her air is gasping at the thought of me not being in her presence.
You know what?
And her organs are not working properly because she is so overwhelmed by stress that she
I'm sick of this, bro. We're not doing the intro
go ahead.
anymore.
All right, go ahead.
This is not a safe place.
You are broken.
This is not a safe place.
She's taking into account her Christian theology and her brokenness. Remember when Lay said you like broken birds?
Yo,
Lace, I'm starting to see that full circle. It all interconnects in sex, and we doing one of these.
Y'all doing this? I don't trust nothing that y'all got to say. Y'all, I don't want to hear nothing. I'm starting to see
it now, Lace. When you be doing this right here. All right, Troy. Christian theology, brokenness as her foundation, root, support, and everything else. Go ahead.
She's broken. All right. As her ex, although we are no longer together, I gave her the 6 months to get her stuff together and get up out of here because I cared, right? And apparently, we still have to go through with the plan because, as you said, we're selling the house. We got to split the assets and things of that nature. I can't give you a place to stay. However, I realize I may need to assist you in the resources of transitioning out of marriage. You know, there's a whole process of going into marriage. I'm not sure if y'all did this, but we did the premarital marriage, premarital counseling and things of the nature, and it prepared us for marriage. But there's no exiting marriage for people who are in these situations. I understand divorce does happen and things of that nature. And so I would make the offering like, listen, you got to get up out of here, but I want to help you with your mental health, because it's obviously there's a separation from reality and your responsibility and how life is going to be from moving on. So I would like to help you, because more than likely, if he was the breadwinner, she was on his insurance. So, and listen, as your breadwinner, former breadwinner, let me help you in your transition out of marriage, because you need counseling. So let me give you, I would help you with a year's worth of counseling, which is a whole lot cheaper. You know what? I don't even want to talk no more, man. I'm done. I'm done. I don't want to talk no more. I'm gonna tell you why I don't want to talk no more, listener. I'm not even looking at them. I'm not even looking at them no more. I'm talking to you, listener. The reason why I don't want to talk no more is because I have a care for humanity. Okay, I have a care for humanity, and I want what's best for individuals in this situation. And from what I am noticing from my colleagues on this podcast, no one on here cares about humanity in whole. We saw earlier when Lace was going to bring up vaccinations, a care, a consideration for humanity as a whole. It was quickly dismissed by our colleague, Melly Mel. Okay? So we saw right there that they don't care. All right? And here we go into a matter.
This said, because your reality and your responsibility. Get out of here.
I was with him all the way up until he said he was going to give her a yearly subscription to counseling, bro.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I was with you all the way up until you said you were subscribing to the counseling pack, bro.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Oh, absolutely,
bro.
And I'm gonna tell you why. And this is not an uncommon thing. Actually, y'all know about Barstool, right? Y'all know about Barstool.
Yeah, man, we know about Barstool, the company. Yeah, go ahead.
So the owner, Dave Portnoy, granted he is a millionaire.
Jesus Christ.
Him and his wife divorced, and after they divorced, although they completely separated, he still gives her access to their bank account. Well, the bank account that they had acquired while they were together, I guess you could say, because his philosophy behind it was, you helped me get here. And I can only imagine for this man who has been with his wife for 14 years, has made a significant amount of money that she doesn't have to have a care or worry or have to work in her life. She has been there to help him in the process of building whatever he has in his life. And so I can't just let go of 14 years after you helped me get to where I am.
I was about to say the same thing.
And just completely forget about you. Now listen,
I'm not gonna knock your argument, bro.
I don't have to deal with you. I don't have to deal with you, but I have to acknowledge the fact that you helped me get to where I am. If they, I don't know if that, I don't know.
That's the issue that I have. Because the language that you're using
that's
is
where
and this is where we stop listening to them, because they use sign language up on this joint. We gotta listen to this.
That has always been my problem, because that is every language topic point of divorce when we talking about people or men with resources. And it is always that conversation of, I helped you build X, Y, and Z. I helped you do. You did most of the time. You didn't help with anything. You were just present, and because you were present by language, you're entitled to something. But you did not help me build anything. You being a kept woman and being at home and being able to spend your days and your time however you want to spend them is in no way, shape, or form helping me build this empire that I've come to acquire, that you seem to benefit from now and post this marital relationship. That is not helping me build anything. That is vastly different than two people who go into business partnership. They open businesses together on paper, and they both work diligently in that business to accumulate wealth. And in those situations, yes, you've helped me build this. And in those instances, it would be handled in the business fashion in an appropriate manner. You take your split, you take your cut, you going about your business. But to sit here and be like, I didn't work for 14 years, granted you're an able-bodied person who could have worked and chose not to work because you had a spouse who could afford your lifestyle, to then get a divorce, and then now it's like, in order for me to maintain this lifestyle, you have to continue to support my lifestyle, and I helped you build this empire that you have. I think that's a bad conversation. I've never agreed with that concept because they're just two different things. For someone to really be bought into something and y'all build a business together, and someone who's just a leisure, kept woman, and now you want 50% of everything that I've worked for, or you feel entitled to be maintained after this. It just don't make sense. Once the relationship is over with, all the rest of that stuff goes with it.
Yeah, I veer on the side of, and I appreciate your holistic approach, Troy, and wanting to continue
No, you
to
don't.
pour
No, you don't.
into and uplift,
No, you
etc.
don't.
But once you get that lump sum, baby,
That's it.
you out of here. You gotta go. That's just what it is, because this is what we agreed upon mutually with lawyers, etc. You already are taken advantage of because you chose not to adhere to our verbal agreement in regards to 6 months. This is your time frame to transition, etc. So all the other stuff, Troy, sounds good, but yeah, nah, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Y'all making it sound like I said I'm going to take care of her for the rest of her life. I'm not. I want you to off-ramp on this highway of love that we were once on in a safe manner.
And
that's
cool. But we have done that because I gave you additional time to stay in a space.
Right.
You had stipulations within that, and what you needed to do to get on your feet. You made an individual decision to dissolve that for God knows what reason. So now, no, the timeline remains the same. You need to do something for you in this, because you talk about off ramping. We've been off ramped. The ramp, you still got 3 months. Get your stuff together. You off ramped. You know what I'm saying?
Which is another element too. Now I don't know the full details. I don't even know if you can answer this, but if she still had time to live in the house before it was sold, was he still in the house too?
No, he was already gone.
Okay.
Yeah, he gone. So you stayed at the crib and you work 3 months quick because you need to follow the Lord. You can't serve 2 masters, and you already got a lump sum.
Quit saying that, bro, because you confusing me.
That's what was said.
You're confusing me, because if that's really truly the case,
that is 100%.
She really said that.
Yes.
Okay,
let's
don't
a follow question to make Troy feel better. Do she actually work at the church, Lace?
No. No.
And no. I never assumed that she.
So
was
by serving 2
she,
masters, she's basically being sarcastic and facetious. Basically said,
that's
what I mean.
Not
like
work.
I'm just not going to work. I'm not going to work. I'm not going to work. I'm used to not working, so I'm not going to work. I don't like it.
There you have it. So yeah.
Well, once again, if she really did said that, let's say for instance she really did mean that, then she really the community failed her in a sense of knowing. Paul himself, who wrote the majority of the New Testament, was a tent maker. My man had a job. He had a job. So if you can say that you can't have a job and serve the Lord, you obviously were not a true disciple, okay? Mm-hmm. And your statement is false.
Well, thank you all for indulging me in another iteration of What Would You Do, presented by Dr. Life Coach Lace.
I'm starting to see that a lot of Lace's What Would You Do's are relationship struggle and turmoil.
Well, that's what, again, I don't go looking for this stuff. Bro. It literally is either I get a call or it is sent to me or disclosed to me in some way. I don't go, y'all know me well enough. I don't go looking for stuff. That ain't me. That ain't me. So yeah, I said I'll gladly present it to the fellas and see what they have to say about it.
Yeah, bro.
I think honestly, truly though, you lost me when you said that she landed a 6-figure job and she
that's not unheard of though. I mean, that could easily be done in this day and age. I mean, come on now. Think about it. Think about people who generally sit around tables and make decisions. Generally don't know they left from their right. So I see it every day. So that could easily be done.
Now listen, that's 100% true. You do not have skills to work in some of these places that are out here. But to skip the line,
see that's the thing. It's not
in front of people who have been grinding.
But that's the thing. Most organizations, they don't develop internal talent. They don't create career pathways for internal talent. They look at the flashy and what they see in a pool of resumes. And if you can sell yourself, you in there. Period. You can have a 14-year gap on your resume. I'll give you a solid case in point. I'm working with for a former client. They were hiring someone to oversee like all of their HVAC type stuff within the organization. So safety, HVAC, that kind of stuff. Whatever. Dude had one candidate had a master's degree, 20 plus years of experience, et cetera, et cetera. Didn't want to hire him, but wanted to hire someone else who solely looked at their only job within the team. They looked at the meters. That was it. Well, I think this person has more potential than the person with the experience, et cetera. Why? Because they interview well. To us, that doesn't make sense. That don't even make, that's not even a common sense. But to them, they're looking for something different and it just doesn't align. But again, that's people do it all day, every day. I see it all the time.
That's so sad. That's so sad.
This is the world we live in, man. I don't even know how some people tie their shoes in the morning. So I just do my little part and keep it pushing.
I'm gonna ask my listeners to pray for the hearts and minds of my colleagues who don't care about humanity and individuals who are in situations like this.
We do
to
care
the point
about humanity.
Where they cut them off.
We do care about humanity. Troy, that's no different than that is no different than women who quit working so that they can ask for more child support. It's the same. It's the same thing.
And since you completed the ECPI Bible Scholar Bowl, Troy, where in the book does it say if you don't work, you don't eat? Mm-hmm. Give me that.
It's Thessalonians, but Paul was saying that to men.
But I'm saying though, regardless, it still applied across.
But man is interchangeable when we discuss the scripture because man,
right? I give you that. I give you that.
So I'm just saying.
Once again, that goes to the point I was making earlier. Her church community failed her.
No, it don't. That's individual.
It's not her church community. That's her individual laziness
interpretation
of not wanting to work.
Exactly.
I don't want to work. That's it. And she knows she can do that because she knows based on 14 years of marriage experience, she knows she can go to the court and say, this is the lifestyle that he's afforded me for the last 14 years. What can you do to make sure I get to maintain this quality of life? And they'll sit there and draw up some paperwork. They'll draw up some stuff for him to continue to finance her life so she can continue to not work because that's how the system works. And people think that that's cool until it starts to affect women. And that shift is not going to happen until more women start having to do what men have to do after marriage has ended. And one of the first few signs of that we saw is with Halle Berry. When she was having to pay out her husband because he wasn't working and they got divorced and she was paying him after they're married. Everyone thought that was crazy. Why are you paying him? He didn't help her build nothing. She's an actress. I helped do something.
I did something.
I did something.
I did something. You feel me? I did something.
You know what I'm saying? Mary J. Blige paying out after her divorce and stuff like that. And then people had issue with that. Why is she paying her ex-husband? Well, he's a man. So why is it cool when men are financing women's lives after a relationship, but a woman who may be afforded, a financial level of a status that could do that, now it's an issue for the men. Men are supposed to walk away with nothing, but if women walk away because of all the sacrifice stuff they did to help build, now we got to continue to maintain that quality of lifestyle and this and that. No, I was married to Mary J. Blige. I got a certain level of quality of lifestyle that I'm used to now that I got to maintain. But if I was to use that angle and attack it, people going to look at me crazy. They're going to say something funny.
I'm not trying to deal with the hateration and the holleration. I'm trying to...
In this desperation.
Okay. You feel me? I ain't trying to deal with that.
All right. Now, when you put it like that, you're all right. Because if it was a man in that situation, it wouldn't be no remorse, no pity, no empathy for them.
And she was paying him 30 bands a month. I remember that because that was all over the news. She was paying him $30,000 a month. He ain't have no kids. He don't have no kids. He won't pay him for private school or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like all those other things that the court uses to justify why we snatching this money. Oh, the kids, this and private school. He ain't have none of that. He was paying 30 bands a month. People had issue with that.
Yeah.
No, we gonna maintain this lifestyle.
Well, this has been fun.
Yes, it has been fun. I don't know. I when I put myself in a situation, I can't think about what society has done. I just think about myself, and I just think, okay. Case in point, I've been married 14 years. If something were to happen with us right now, despite how I feel in that moment, I'm like, yo, I want to look out for Shorty because I care. I care.
And that's why we're built different. But that's a conversation for another day.
For another day.
That's a conversation for another. But I appreciate your heart. I appreciate your heart posture around that. That's a good look.
My treasures are going to be stored up in heaven. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And when y'all are at the corner, listen, I know y'all gonna be in heaven.
I'm
gonna
put it to you straight like this.
Y'all gonna be in heaven.
I don't care if you got more gems in your crown than me. I'm just trying to make it in.
As long as I'm in there. I ain't gotta be VIP. I'm just trying to get in the club. I'm just trying to get in the club, bro.
You may have a 12-ounce jar of milk and honey. I may have a 6, but I'm in that mug.
As long as we in there. As long as we are in there, bro.
We appreciate you all vibing with us today on this episode. Hoping to give you all some we have some special episodes coming on a little bit later on. But so stay tuned for what we have to release. It's been your boy Troy, Life Coach Lace, Melly Mel. It's the Manly D's podcast. We out.